and welcome to Badass Uni All-Stars. Jerry, we are back with map 3 of what feels like 100 so far. We are back with map 3, aren't we, after a very, very long clubhouse. And I can at least guarantee we're not going back yet.
Yeah, that's true. Well, for the time being, because, well, hopefully we'll have a look at the map bans soon, but we've first of all got to talk a little bit about who's playing. So Team Triton been sitting there waiting very patiently for this match to happen, and it's going to be up against Fookin Zoo, who delivered a very swift and very resounding 7-1 victory against it was I've gone back too many pages against Chexaland. There we go. Earlier today, and right here you can see the lineup of Triton and Fookin Zoo appearing on screen, and the Fookin Zoo players, they should be familiar to you. We saw them earlier. They've been really impressive. Biggly Bob rather, was especially good. My perspective, at least, I'm not familiar with any of those player names myself, but either way, that's what this league is all about. It's completely new. We've got new people coming in, new teams forming especially for this, and just trying to find their feet. And so far, well, Fookin Zoo have definitely done that. That 7-1 victory on Cafe was no mean feat. They were looking pretty dominant there.
Yeah, I feel like a couple of the rounds could have gone the way of Chexaland, but it was just like I said back at that. They just had the edge each time, and shockingly enough, I'm looking at this Triton lineup and I'm recognizing one of these players. I've actually played against him in the Uni League on Coastline alongside my teammate Biggly Bob. So that's a little bit of lore behind it. The rest of the players, no, I don't recognize either. But I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the map bans, which you're about to see on the screen, and, you know, I'm really thanking God that they've gone the way they have, because it could have gone a lot worse, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really interesting one, actually, because, well, I mean, you'll get to see exactly why it's interesting. And I know we tend to overuse that word sometimes as casters, but this really is. So
Really
we're going to see the bans as they played out. So Team Triton were first ban, and that was Conchita going off the board. Theme Park, Fookin Zoo's first ban. So two fairly underplayed maps gone. Clubhouse, interestingly enough, banned out by Triton next, and then Villa from Fookin Zoo. So leaving us with a trio of Coastline, Oregon, and Cafe. Coastline being the kind of standout, less played one amongst that three, and it's the first to go from Team Triton. And Fookin Zoo opting to go with Cafe over Oregon as their pick, essentially. So they want to go back to their old stomping ground from, well, a couple of hours ago. They're feeling confident there. Maybe they'll get more of a chance to attack on it now, because they will be starting on the attack. We only saw them do a couple of rounds over on against Chexaland earlier, so because it was such a short map, they really sealed it out with a 5-1 split in the defense. So we know they have a strong defense. Do they have a strong attack to back it up?
I would really like to see how a Fookin Zoo go in for this and how Triton responds around it, most importantly, because a lot of the defense is saying, okay, this is how we set, this is how we prepare, but there is an element of being able to react to what's happening. It's seeing what's going on and making those slight adjustments that are needed by the defenders to put the attackers in the worst position possible. And we've seen Scipio, he's been one of those players who's constantly wanting to do it. And in the interview, because we talk about it a lot, because it was a standout moment, because it was a bit of fun. When we watch the Amaru go into that cocktail bar area, 3 guns look at him, yeah, he dies. But then his team pick up 2 kills immediately afterwards. And then you're looking towards when he's playing down on the pulse. He's giving that constant information. He's giving his team what they need to readjust, to reposition, to set up the crossfires that just refuse and deny any chance these attackers have of getting the wins. For example, they downed the Habana with the diffuser, and the rest of the attackers couldn't do anything, so they just went up to the roof and they went inside. And honestly, I want to see more of that, but I want to see Triton be able to do it as well. I want to see this map go all the way, hopefully with less rehosts. I
Yeah,
will
that would be
say
nice.
that. Yeah.
That'd be nice. There was just the one thing is that I don't know with Triton,
Hmm.
um, how they stack up, how they compare to Chexeland, because I felt as though during that Fukinzu Chexeland game, it was a lot of the rounds going Fukinzu's way, or some of the rounds, not a lot, some of the
Mm.
rounds are going Fukinzu's way, were more down to Chexeland losing them than it was Fukinzu winning them. And I think, well, we don't know what to expect from Team Triton, but I'm hoping for a closer matchup just for entertainment purposes. I always love a good burner myself. But yeah, see if they can give them a run for the money. See if they can go toe to toe with them a bit more.
Mm.
And yeah, that's basically what I hope for from this match.
Yeah, like I say, I want to see that toe to toe. I want to
Yeah,
see Triton being able to match a Zoo. I want to see them just put up a stiff defense that fucking Zoo have to recreate on their attack, on their defense. You have to try and take the fight to them, I think, because once you let Zoo start getting that momentum, start getting these early kills, start getting the map advantage and the round advantages, that's when you're gonna start seeing it slip away because the Zoo, they've got the players that are well connected, they're well gelled. They have good positive vibes in at least my experience when I've played with them. You need to really just make it known immediately that you are going to be winning that game. You can't let them start to pick up rounds and get that confidence.
no, you can't. You have to stop them in their tracks because I mean, clearly, Afukinzu were a very momentum based side. They got that. We pegged it as a kind of turning moment in the last
Mm,
cafe game that we saw with them, which was the clutch defuse that the Decker made.
yeah.
It was just a massive moment, and from that point on, they didn't lose a round. It was straight on up. They won 4 on their defense, split on over to the attack, win the 2, job done. Like that
Mm,
was the story of the game. As soon as they managed that big clutch, they just did not stop. So shutting down the momentum is probably just as important for our new side of Team Triton today,
mm.
as much as it is just sort of playing their own game.
And it is with a very, very happy heart that I tell you it seems we've got all 10 players in the lobby and both teams are given. They're ready. So we will be jumping into the game right about now. And hopefully we'll get just as good a game as we saw on the Clubhouse and CAF before that. The bands. We
Oh,
need to
quick!
talk about it. Yeah?
We haven't done like ban predictions like we did last time. Thatcher, Ace, Mira, Kaid. Go quick!
That sounds about right. I could see
Oh, come on!
a one might being taken away, if not a
Right.
Capital. A
Yeah.
Capital on attack has to come out. If it doesn't, then a one might come out because it's the freezer or the pixel position. That's where Zoo really excelled. Is they had that player in pixel, and there was nothing really that Cheslin could do about it. So if Team Triton, if they've been paying attention, they're gonna ban out that one might. And I think Zoo, if they get rid of that Capital, then yet again, there's nothing that can really stop them.
Oh, okay. I'm 2 for 2 so far. I'm very happy with my guessing on these attacker bans. They've been 100% today on attacker bans. It's the defender bans that are throwing me off. So, what did I say? Kaid Mirror? I can see that coming through here. Kaid is very effective, as we saw on that last cafe game. Wamai, you are right, is going to be banned. So I lose my, well, so far 100%. But I guess I can cry myself to sleep tonight to sort of deal with that. And the last ban is going to be Mira. So I wasn't far off. I was 3 out of 4. Again, one day I'll get 100%. One day.
Yeah, now I think we're going to see those who looking to bring out Capital a little bit,
Yeah,
flush out that
absolutely.
pixel, and Team Triton should expect to do the same, realistically, because they they have seen, hopefully, they have seen how the Zoo will play this game, and the Black Bee coming on board, nearly coming on board. Gridlock will be picked up by Decker instead, but the 6th pick, it might be there, but we're going to be heading to the kitchen side first. And I'm liking the lineup we're seeing here. It's a pretty stock standard one. You've got your Maestro, your Castle to shut down rotate to give the roamers a bit more freedom of movement. But the Cage comes in, which you really can't fault a team for bringing. But I think maybe keep the Maestro, put the Vigil on that Cade.
It seems that I would imagine that they're going to be roaming with that vigil, and I really want to see closely how they decide to set up this site, especially without the Maestro, because as soon as I saw that Maestro come out, you've got you've got 4 sets of impacts across the team. Those castle barricades as well. You can do a very open setup of site when you have that lineup, but it looks as though with Summit reinforcing this right-hand wall, is likely to reinforce both. There we go. So they are going to shore up the site, but they are extending into Bakery, as you can see with these castle barricades and this reinforcement coming through from Kovac. That allows players to be much safer playing behind that Bakery stall there, or counter. And of course, this is a key castle barricade as well. Just cutting that main hall in half means that the attackers really do have to take control of a lot more. It essentially adds an entire extra buffer room either side of that hallway for defenders to be able to rotate in, have control of, and attackers, yeah, they can't just take control of small Bakery and then have that entire line of sight all the way down to the other side. They have to make sure they either focus their push on one side or take the entire bottom floor, or just remove that castle barricade at range.
Yeah, we're not seeing an extended Bakery hold for the pure fact of it very much expects it. You expect to lose a player when you play that, to be honest.
Yeah.
When you play that position, yes, you get a couple of kills, you can slow them down and get some huge impact kills, but you have to be prepared to lose that player and have to pull back and accept that you are going to take that man loss. The main goal of that is to waste utility and make sure that you get a kill or two first. However, we are going to see try to just avoid that completely.
This is a strange one, that they decide to put a fair amount of utility into the Bakery, but then also just leave it. So they're, I guess, forcing the hard breach to come through from the Fookin Aces. It's the Fookin Aces, it's the Fookin Zoo. I just gave them a whole new name right there. That's fun. But yeah, they're forcing the hard breach to come through, as you can see. That's the first exothermic charge. But Kovac is now under pressure from these drones. And, you know, if there's someone playing inside a Bakery with a few ADS, then that's another layer to your defense. So they're just not making part of their defense right here. Hyde is going to be the first to take Scipio down, or Scipio, as we found out his name is pronounced, and end his life. That's the ace, or sorry, the Ash gone. I just seem to want to say ace all the time. Maybe someone will give us an ace.
Yeah, I think it's an omen. There's going to be an ace at some point, and I'm looking forward to it. But like you say, Scipio being taken away, the Ash, that's the flashbang skull, and Kovac, he's able to find another, make that a third. Taken off the board for the attackers as Biggly Bob and Octagon both get removed. Now it's down to Deca and Vulcanoid. Deca, we've seen him being able to excel with some of the more fragger, speedier ops, but now it's just seeing a Mexican standoff. Deca looking over the head of, I believe that is Kovac. Kovac just waiting. He knows that he has done. He has potential, and Deca goes to the peak, but will not excel. Kovac getting the kill, immediately refragged by Vulcanoid. Look to push through prep now, but the Cade is coming through. Never mind, that's a move on the smoke. It doesn't matter, though. There's still 3 people you need to kill. A rotate is coming out. The flank drone will catch it. Vulcanoid knows that there's a player there, but Hyde knows that there's an air jab. He can hear it and won't be peeking it. He'll just be holding the longer angle, and that's the first round going in favor of Team Triton.
A excellent hold right there. I did criticize it, saying, oh, they've offered up Bakery a little bit, but then as soon as the attackers got into it, they started pushing quite aggressively. There was a lot of fights being taken from prep, especially by Kovac. He held on to prep especially well, and then as soon as they got a pick or two, they did not let up with that aggression. You saw the movement of Hyde taking small Bakery and making sure that the Jackal wasn't able to just waltz on out of Bakery and play the long game. He wanted to finish that round there and then. So great bit of controlled aggression, I'd say, from Triton. And, well, they've already taken off a round from Fookin Zoo. If they manage to take one more, then they've already bettered the Chexeland side that took them here earlier.
Now, I'm thinking this Warden is being brought in place of that one might ban. Sometimes you'll see Warden will take that position because he can't block off. He can't stop the utility from going out and catch it in midair like Wamai can, but he can at least sit there and look through it. He can grin through the pain, essentially. Activate his Rolly, activate his ability. He can hold that position not as strong as Wamai could, but with that double stack ADS behind the couch, he can be quite difficult to shift out, especially with support of a move playing in that freezer, giving him that rotate out. So as soon as it gets hairy, he pulls back. The Monster camera That's just going to add another layer to this tiered defense that you're seeing. Triton, they know what they want to achieve. And that's quite clear in the way they're setting up. They're getting a very heavy piano hold. So then their roamers need to be ready to protect from other pushes. They need to be able to hold these other places and support high. Make sure that that white stairs is safe. Make sure red stairs is safe. And that nobody's dropping Skylight.
The choice of secondary gadgetry is interesting as well. Both both the Valkyrie and the Warden opting to bring C4s rather than the shields. Now, I mean, Valkyrie has always been one for the C4, but in the sort of highest tier, quite often you will see it swapped out for the shield. More often than not, with a Warden, you always see the shield. It works well with his setup. It synergizes. It allows him to hold down a position and take the fights that come to him. But yeah, they're just going with the one shield from the smoke, and I guess they want to use these C4s, and out goes one. Looks like it's caught on the door frame, so at least that's an active deterrent to anyone pushing through. It's not completely wasted, but it's also not super effective. And they're going to be opening up the breach from Piano anyway, so they may just be able to circumvent the push through Cigar anyway.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, we're seeing Kovac fall back now. He's done his job, and with that C4, like you said, just waiting, Biggly Bob, he can't really push too far. He's going to open that piano area, but then obviously he'll go into hide, so he's waiting for the rest of his team to give support. He has Diffuser, he has Flashbangs, he can do a lot of work, but he cannot get this Maestro camera. Side PO, however, Scipio, sorry, can. Trying to burn an ADS, unable to. There goes that Maestro camera. ADS is getting burned. Volcanoid finding a kill onto Summit. The opening pick going their way for the Jackal. Now Decker, he's looking to support. He will be able to take out Hyde. Now Warden being removed off the borders. Decker's able to find another one. Hunter Kovac trying to come over from that cigar shop area from Cocktail. Now the attackers are funneling in. Decker will go down, but should be able to be revived very quickly.
He could even revive himself as he's a Zofia, so he can withstand in this situation. As now we're left in at 2 versus 5, and Decker does indeed pull himself back up by the bootstraps. And now Sandy is stuck in a position where that freezer breach has locked him into the freezer itself, and he goes down to Billy Bob. It's suddenly all up to a move who's got a mountain to climb right here. There's no way he holds off. It's tied with 41 seconds left. He has one toxic gas canister left as well. Sends that out to the default plant as he hears the diffuser being stuck, but it will not even tickle Billy Bob as he sticks that plant down. And Octagon is the one to seal the flawless round for the Fookin Zoo. An incredible push right there through Piano, ticking every box, just doing everything perfectly. And, well, we're back at 1-1.
Yeah, this is almost exactly how we saw the first game go. It went 1-1, then we had to have a rehost, but we don't talk about that. But I do want to talk about Decker and Scipio really just pushing in. It was a very basic way to get rid of Hyde, but it was very effective, and it's basic for a reason. You have Scipio, he's coming in, he's covering that Warden, he's getting the flashbangs to burn the ADS best he can in case they need to pop the shield. Decker comes through, gets a Maestro camera, then covers the Warden. Scipio goes to burn those ADSs yet again as Hyde peaks and Decker takes him out. Looks for someone coming for the refract from Cocktail, because that area still don't have the control. So when Kovac comes to try and get a kill, he gets taken out. That was just really nicely played. The coordination clearly there between the team, as then they got the freezer open. You had 2 people go pillars to get that plant down. I think that was just a really good round from Fookin Zoo, and we can only expect to see more. As Team Triton, the only change that they're making so far that you can see is this Melusi, which we've seen a lot of play with, which surprises, I'm going to imagine, nobody.
No, I mean, she's an incredible operator, really, and
there we go.
There we go. So this is exactly what I was going to highlight, is that they didn't really leverage the C4s in any meaningful way on this previous defense. Both the Warden and the Valkyrie playing laterally the first pieces of the puzzle to fall, and they didn't really get to use the C4s even slightly. So having them prepped and in locations where teammates can call out, now just blow it, or what have you. You've got that the Evil Eyes as well, and the Banshees to assist you with that. It's so much better, really, than just relying on a kind of lucky toss out of a hatch or through a doorway. And it was odd to see, say, for instance, Summit on the flank beneath as the Jaeger, when you had that Valkyrie and you had the option to C4 from beneath as well. I would have liked to see some different kind of positioning, and it looks like they are adapting somewhat by going with that Melusi, dumping the utility above, and, well, she's now upstairs, but her C4 can be ringing true whenever the time comes.
Yeah, realizing maybe he didn't have the greatest presence and the greatest pressure and impact in that last round by being picked off so quickly, not getting a kill onto Biggly Bob, who just waited for his team to help him. I feel like just pulling back is the right play. You just say, all right, go do something else. But something we have to highlight now is that Maestro, who is able to get a kill onto Biggly Bob, getting that diffuser. Yo, but the refrag comes out with a crossfire with Octagon, who's able to get Hyde as well, actually clearing that entire piano position. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I just heard a C4 go off and not find its mark. Octagon putting pressure on that Pixel, will find a kill onto Summon, making it his third with half the round gone.
Yeah, that was just sounded like an instinct C4 right there. I think Kovac panicked a little bit. He was like, oh god, both my teammates are going, I must hit it. Decker with another big kill and a second. This guy just loves double kills right here on this top floor. He walks in and slays the rest of the defense. One, and here's the second, a beautiful peek into Freezer, knowing where he would be, just pre-firing that common location, and beautiful stuff from the Zofia, who seals it out.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest, that was a really good recovery from a shaky start coming out from a Fookin Zoo. Biggly Bob getting taken out quite quickly by the unexpected Maestro playing on that stage. Hyde was playing in support, so as soon as Sandy went out, I think Hyde tried to help by taking out Octagon on the window, but then just got caught in the lineup, and unfortunately for Team Triton, they lose that top floor yet again. They will be returning to kitchen service, though. They need to just try and lock down the same way and just catch them off guard in the same way as they did the first round. But I think the big problem that we're seeing from the first round, and quite possibly this one, is that lack of vertical gameplay. There was no sledge in the first round, and you could put that down, yes, to them thinking it's going to be top floor. Why bring a sledge? And yes, you have a Jackal with a shotgun secondary, but when you know it's going to be this site and vertical gameplay can be such a defining factor, I want to see that. A sledge or a buck on the board, or failing that, another person with one of those secondary shotguns.
Yeah, it's an odd choice not to bring any sort of dedicated soft breach. It's weird that we don't call Zofia or Ashe dedicated soft breaches at this time, because
I think they're just utility burners at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird meta we're in, but I mean that will likely change soon with some patches on the way, which is good. The new season looks promising. Anyway, yeah, they seem very sort of. They really want to lock down these flanks with the Jackal and the Nomad, right? That is a map control lineup right there, and I think they honestly, map control wasn't their biggest issue going into this previous kitchen take. So I don't know if this is going to solve that problem. A few kills here or there might help them out. They didn't really get much in the way of kills on their last approach. It was basically the Kovac show on the castle, but interestingly enough, Team Triton have dropped that castle. They've again moved things around, and Kovac will, regardless of the operator pick, get that first kill. C4 being sent out by the mute, claiming the life of Scipio before he's really even able to burn anything.
And 2 for 2 being the opening pick when it comes to these bottom floor sites. And while we watch this round play out, I want you to think about this, Jerry, and come back to me later. A gridlock instead of the Nomad, and then that vertical take. But like I said, get back to me later, because we are seeing this prep wall start to get opened up. Zoo not really worrying much about this bakery wall. They don't want to open it at all. They're just content to funnel through this prep for some reason. Scipio was trying to open up more lines of sight, more angles, more contests, and more things that the team trying to worry about. But C4 going out, able to find that kill, and just not going to happen. And now we're seeing Triton there, yet again, they're starting to bunker in. Hyde, he can take advantage of any vertical holes made in the prep phase without worry, because Kovac's being Jackal scanned. Now we're just looking at how Zoo want to funnel into Triton.
Well, it's a very single-minded funnel, and I feel like funnel's the perfect word for it, because this is the first time we're seeing pressure down main, and it's a little bit bare bones, honestly. They just seem to be face-checking stuff right here. Decker looks a little bit worried that he might be being flanked, and Volcanoid just holding the long angle, waiting for the fight to come to him. I suppose that's maybe just a way of guarding the Zofia to try and get up on the roam clear, because that is what she's doing right now. She's hunting down anyone that might be atop, and it looks like Hyde is waiting at around 90. So Dekka's trying to find him, but again, just no active droning coming through from here. So it's just going off game sense alone, and if he starts working the floor, then that's Hyde's cue to strike, because he's not looking the right way.
Yes, he is caught off guard by Summit. If, like you said, he started to shoot down, that's kind of the affirmation. He's comfortable, and that's when a roamer is most effective. Sandy will go down though, but Hyde gets the refrag onto Octagon, playing that vertical gameplay. But Summit's able to find another one onto Biggly Bob. It's all down to Vulcanoid yet again with the Jackal. Yet again, not really much presence still in this small bakery area. 11 seconds on the clock. I think we could call this round safely done. Just the question is, does she get a kill? She gets one, but not the second. Hyde will pick it up and give Team Triton another round on their defense. Only successful on the kitchen so far.
Yeah, and convincingly so as well, because that was just clean. But again, it looked more like a case of the Fookin Zoo just not really knowing exactly what they wanted to do with their attack, sending Zofia up alone to try and apply some pressure, just assuming that the top 2 floors are clear. If you want to apply vertical pressure, is not good enough. They need to do a clean sweep. So yeah, this is definitely something on the checklist for improvements for a Fookin Zoo. That being said, that was the 4th round, so we're not actually going to get a chance to see them attack kitchen again. Instead, they're heading back up to bar to try and sort of shore up their defenses there instead. And should Team Triton win here? Oh no, sorry, I misread. This is a reading dining defense.
I think that's fair enough. What we saw from Team Triton was they tried to take the top floor twice and it failed both times. So they went back to kitchen, which they knew they can win, and so won. Decided, okay, bar, we could go there, we could try it, but we haven't actually given reading dining a go, and we might play better there. Because we've seen Zoo, they've gone for these very one-dimensional pushes on the bottom floor. I'm hoping we can keep it going, because the fucking Zoo, they're doing very simple things, they're just doing it well. And it hasn't been working out on the bottom floor, but it has been on the top. So maybe they're trying to replicate some of the bottom floor with reading, and I think there's a bit more roaming presence when it comes to this middle floor, because you can go above or you can go below, and if you double stack it, one above, one below, the roam clear can't really do that much. They kind of only expect one floor to be roam clearing.
It is an unusual way to play the middle floor, to have people roaming beneath. Usually if you do that, you want to be bringing a pulse and reading into the push that might come through mining, dining, but it's more likely that attackers will do what we're seeing the Fookin Zoo do here right now, and just approach as they would a top floor take for a bar attack, and clear out piano, push into cocktail, and that is exactly what Team Triton are set up to try and counter. They just look in one direction. They have their pests, they have their ADSs, they have their reinforcements designed so that everyone is funneled through either long bar or white hall, and those are basically no man's land for the attackers. So this puts the defenders in a good spot. Cocktail is a great place to hold. Kovac sitting at the back of white stairs is going to be assisting Summit, who's essentially the kind of flex in this position. He can join the high in his position as well to just fight whoever is coming either player's way.
And we will see that Mozzie drone being taken away. After not having it on Clubhouse, a quick peek from Summit will look for a kill, but one drone being taken away gives a bit of information as to where they're pushing. But Summit is taking some damage and does some of his own. But Octagon will go out to Kovac. Now Kovac stuck on that pixel. The flashbang will come out as Scipio is able to get the refrag. Hyde on his own. Looks to get Scipio. Will be able to. Takes damage but escapes. Even with the Jackal track. And now Kovac's playing in support. It's a minute 10 on the clock. Now they can start pulling back to site. They don't need to hold that top floor so much. Now the C4 will go from Hyde. But the players moved away already. Getting boxed into laundry. Not a great position. But Sandy able to do something better about it. Will find Dekka. Vulcanoid, yet again, we're seeing on this top floor. Susceptible to the C4s, but not many are left. One of them is gone, and one of them might be in favor of Sandy, but Vulcanoid and Biggly Bob, they have 45 seconds to make something happen here, and it's not looking good.
No, that was beautifully played as well by a move just landing the shot onto Biggly Bob, but also beautifully played by Team Triton as a whole. They've put themselves in this advantage by falling back perfectly, slipping through the net that the Fookin Zoo set for them, and Kovac will find that final kill. He opened things up and he will close it out for Triton. A solid defense yet again, this time on Reading Dining, and well, I mean, round 6 coming up, and they might actually be on their way to a healthy 4-2 split.
Yeah, and realistically, Triton, that's what they're going to be aiming for. However, now they have to go to that top floor, because when you think about Reading Museum, if you lose Piano, you lose that site. A lot of people the attackers could just jump in sight and get a plant. So it's not really one of those viable sites where you can drain time. 3 minutes is more than enough to get a round done in half the time it should take. So we're going to see Triton go back to the top floor, which is the only one a fucking Zoo have been able to win. And we're not seeing much changes in the lineup. I personally would have rather seen that clash stick or be the 6-pick. Something to slow down a Zoo and catch them off guard. That's what I'd want to see. Something they don't know how to deal with.
At least they're switching to something that does a similar job in the Legion, but is actually an active gun. I feel like it's obviously no substitute for a Clash. They're very different operators, but yeah, I'm intrigued by the fact that Triton, obviously, they failed twice at this bar defense, so they do need to adjust, but they seem to be adjusting quite heavily. For instance, they're going back to having that Valkyrie, and now they've doubled committed to the intel game with both Evil Eyes and Black Eyes on the field. But they've got fewer C4s to kind of use that intel gathering with. And the goo mines might help. They may slow down attackers in key locations. Maybe they just want to stop Decker just pushing straight through from Cigar Door, because that's caught them out. Well, it's caught them out once. It kind of caught them out the first time as well. It was the same fight that he took through the door from Cigar Shop. So maybe they just want to, like, annoy the hell out of anyone that wants to push through that way, because clearly it's what the Fookin Zoo like to do.
Yeah. They are going to get a very early presence on that roof. Octagon with a very nice drone there, just skirting. He's able to spot the Maestro cameras, able to spot that Jaeger as well. Trying to play in that Chico position, will pull back. Summit realizing that if it gets droned out, they're not going to peek it. They're not going to give you what you need. Biggie Bob yet again in the red stairs with Decker. The smoke canister goes off to cover this as they open that wall. They need to be prepared just in case there's a double piano play again, which is why we're seeing Octagon open up that window now. But the pixel player is still there. The ADSs are still there, and it does sound very much like a Maestro camera is in support, as it is watching to give away as much information as possible.
Trying to zap those drones, and either Kovac or the Hyde have been somewhat successful in taking down at least one of those drones, but there's still plenty of intel in the hands of Fookin Zoo to work with. A double impact comes out there from the Hyde, and it does land a bit of damage onto the Ash, but nothing, or the thermite of Biggly Bob, who is actually being tickled slowly away by that Evil Eye. They need to deal with it. I believe they might have just then. No, he's still in position. Oh, that's a Black Eye that's been dealt with. But so maybe that Evil Eye is still a bit of an issue for the players inside of Piano. Biggly Bob needs to be careful. So he's holding that diffuser, and he doesn't really want to be whiffing any sort of toxic gas canister, for instance, come the execute.
Yeah, I feel like playing that Maestro is safer rather than having Sandy playing him in Piano. That's the play, because that comes in later, and Kovac comes in with the Alda, able to get one, but Decker's there immediately for that refrag. This man, constant presence on the side of a Fookin Zoo as Sandy is able to find Octagon, finding what seemingly his counterpart when it comes to these frags. And now, though, we're still seeing, yet again, we're seeing Vulcanoid playing that roof, watching for that flank. A position she really likes to play, but one that's not really going to help the team is Decker. Able to down Sandy, goes for the wallbang. Summit's able to find Biggly Bobs, and now Vulcanoid, she needs to come through as Summit is looking to get this flank towards Pixel. No air jabs on the board. Hyde is able to find Vulcanoid.
Yep, it is not that bad right now. They have a 4 versus 1. Make that 3 versus 1. Decker just walks into the prone angle and the peak coming through from the Jaeger. A big play right there from a move, picking up his teammate and then sealing the deal with a nice shot. over the bar. So many so many people standing right in front of the Zofia there, and just, not enough bullets to deal with all of them. But they do manage that clean 4-2 split, exactly what they needed. Probably the best that they could have hoped for, especially after Fukinzu looked like they were picking up a couple of attacking rounds, and well, they did pick up a couple of attacking rounds on bar, but finally they get that successful bar defense, and it could mean a lot in the long run.
I feel like this is where we really saw what a Fukinzu had to offer, and that was on the defense, because that's where they were picking up these rounds against Czechsland, yeah? It's such a weird amalgamation that I can't...
It's a strange word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Czechsland. Yeah.
It doesn't roll off the tongue for me.
It does not.
This is the defense. This is where we saw them really start to excel. And Team Triton, I don't think they've had enough time, although the Ubisoft servers did try and give it to them. I don't think they've had enough time to really sit down and develop counter strats. So what I want to see is Triton. I want to see them have already strategies that would work against them. If not, I can see them starting to run away with it very quickly, actually.
It's beautifully highlighted by our observer there. It looks as though most of the drones from the attacking side of Team Triton now after this split are stationed around that bottom floor. So it's entirely possible that we see a clear from the bottom. It's usually unlikely, and they are stationing them around outside to be picked up as well. So, I mean, just there's a slight possibility there then to at the bottom, but most likely we're going to see that pilgrimage to the roof that everyone knows and loves on Cafe. But Scipio's getting aggressive with an early peek from Piano and does take a chunk out of a move there. Exactly 50 HP it would look like. He's going to be chucking out a late cam. The move's likely to hear this one. Does get shot out, I believe it sounded like. So that's a late black eye, not worth it really. But I mean, that early peak certainly was, because taking 50 HP off of the planter, off of the hard breach, that could be pretty important later.
Yeah. I mean, as we were shown in that last round, one impact nade will do about 50 points of damage, so one well-placed impact nade could take away that thermite. And I feel like that is the player to tag up. If there is one player that you need to get, it's that thermite before they get into the building. Once red is open, then maybe not so much. But right now, Octagon's holding this position. The ADS is whirring, ready to go. All three of them even, with no one on the board. They're very much stacking for this pixel play. They're very much stacking to get this early advantage with the early round. And I think that there is a lot of merit in this idea, but it needs to be executed flawlessly, with Scipio coming up those stairs on red, trying to catch them off guard. This could be it, actually. He does hear the drones. He hears them come out. The C4 goes up, but doesn't find anybody. Nobody's up top of red stairs. Summit going to ADS out Octagon, and now time has been wasted, yes. And you're bringing a minute on the clock, but you have 0 kills. You still have a fair amount of utility. 0 kills, though. No ADSs. You are going to have to win your gunfights before Team Triton are able to get you in their sights.
We absolutely are, and it's like we said, we can expect a bit of a slogfest right here, as it's just a line of opposition meeting each other right here. Dekka's getting aggressive, though, on the trash wall. He's playing really close there. I don't know if that's reinforced behind him or not. If it's soft and he has the opportunity to strike, it does look like it is soft, in fact. So he might meet his early death if Summit decides to open that up with a dash charge, but those are already been used. They need to be very wary of this Jaeger's position, because if he goes unchecked, he could be a massive blow to the side of Team Triton. Volcanoid, he'll pick up the first kill, though, onto a move, and a team kill comes through. That's not what you want to see. Dekka gets that kill and immediately is traded out by the Hyde, and now we're left in a 2 versus 4. Summit and Hyde have a lot to do right here. 4 full HP defenders with only 17 seconds left. Toxic gas canisters smoking off white. Summit goes down. Hyde just has to drop in. He doesn't even hit the floor before he's dead. Octagon takes the head off, and that's the Fookin Zoo claiming their first offensive round on bar.
I think that's more on Team Triton than Fookin Zoo, because Scipio, you saw him on red stairs. He got a C4 off. He held that red stairs for almost the whole round. There was no flank drones watching him. He got a C4 off, and they still didn't know. Summit trying to push over to Piano, he fell as well. Maybe Pre-Fire Car will understand why Summit didn't, when he was pushing that pixel position. But I think you've got to at least be ready. And then the team kill coming out from Kovac, that just wasn't it. Deca got that kill onto Kovac as well, especially after the TK, and it was just rounds. The round was falling apart from the start, realistically, and I criticized them for spending so much time on Pixel with those 3 ADSs with that shield. I feel like that shouldn't have gone their way, but they're lucky that it did, and it's on Team Triton that it went that way. And before I say it went that way anymore, we are going to be heading to the kitchen site.
Yep, certainly looks that way.
I mean, it's pretty. I think we could safely say it's going to be the kitchen site. I don't think Caster's Curse is that good.
I thought you were going to say it's going to safely be. We can safely say it's going to be that way.
I'm not that bad.
I want it. Sorry, I sometimes it just comes out. I can't help myself with the music. Deca. He's on 7 kills right now. That's pretty solid. He was doing very nicely on the Zofia in the first half. A couple of big double kills. Looking at the frags across the board, he is top of the leaderboard alongside Kovac and Hyde. They've all got 7 apiece. And, well, I mean, that's represented in the round count. Triton just ahead. 4-3. So the frags do matter, ladies and gentlemen. It does make a difference. Kovac going for this rappel up the south wall. And he is safe. No one peeking from Freezer. So this looks like a complete top-down roam clear going to be coming out from Team Triton. And rightly so. Scipio is roaming on white stairs. They need to be quick about this because quite often when teams go for this kind of clear and execute, it does come down to the very last seconds. And if you've got Banshees and toxic gas canisters ahead of you, which you do in this instance, you need to make sure you account for those and leave enough time. Summit has, well, he's mounted the top of the building, true to his name, and he's falling down gradually, forcing Scipio to commit to the drop to the 2nd floor. Decker's down there with him. That's top floor clear. Summit will come down the white stairs now. Kovac's got that rotation outside of reading room on lock, and now, effectively, both of these roamers are locked in reading. This could be pretty neat. It is.
Sorry about that.
No, that was. I mean, that's my thoughts exactly. Really, that's Summit ending Scipio NGG's life right there, and Decker now has to get big value from this roam to justify it. Meanwhile, Biggly Bob going to be falling to the vertical pressure from Kovac. Nice work from the sledge because they've got their roamers locked inside of reading. Like I said, Volcanoid's going to be backing off, expecting to maybe fight off the side from Garage, but Decker striking takes out the Hyde, and the call doesn't come through that he's there. What are you doing? Manages to down the sledge and is finally punished by Summit. A little bit of a delayed reaction there from the side of Team Triton, almost costing them dearly, but they stay ahead. The 4v2 comes down to the execute.
Yes, Volcanoid holding this prone angle, waiting, knowing that she is going to be in a very tough, important spot very shortly, as that prep will get flashed out, and they will expect the player behind the shield, but there won't be one. Octagon has to hold this long line of sight as well by double door. If he doesn't, this could mean Volcanoid getting swamped, and that's exactly what's going to happen. As Summit runs in and finds both Octagon and Volcanoid, and Team Triton, they just played it better. Summit won a very good roam clear, able to find 1 kill after another, and fucking Zoo just not having an answer at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was so close to being a tragic end for Triton, to be fair. I don't think they quite expected there to be 2 roamers in reading. As soon as they locked out the Valkyrie, they just sort of took their eyes off it. They had a really nice pinch going on right there. And as soon as they got the kill, they thought, okay, cool, now we can start focus on the vertical. Kovac got a kill out of it, so that was nice. And then suddenly, out of nowhere seemingly, Decker, through Fireplace, just springs a trap, takes down 1. The reaction, nowhere near quick enough from Triton, has to be said. He almost lose Kovac as well in the process, and then luckily, another player is there to sweep it up. I think it might have been Summit even. So, did he get a 4K on that round? I think he might have.
I think, yes. If you do some maths very quickly, that is the case. The only person not falling to him being Biggly Bob with the vertical gameplay, I believe.
That was Kovac, yeah. That was the only other kill. So yeah, great 4K from Summit, absolutely carrying the team from the top to the bottom. But yeah, 5 versus... Oh, not 5 versus 3. 5-3 is the scoreline right now. Heading into another kitchen defense here as the Fookin Zoo look to lock it out in a slightly different manner. They've got that Kaid on board to secure freezer, hatch, and wall. And they're going for a Mozzie instead this time on the room. Rather than that Valkyrie, they want to be not just collecting their own intel, but denying that coming from Team Triton as well. They were very effective on their own clear. I said that it often comes down to time when it goes to those executes, but really, that wasn't an issue for them. They did effectively enough on the roam clear and then turned their attention immediately, perhaps even too soon, I would argue, towards the site. But yeah, they didn't let time become an issue, and that's admirable.
Yeah, I feel like that was a very nicely played round. They took it at a pace in which they were able to take the gunfights, but able to get the droning in as well. Vertical gameplay. They had a kind of a checklist in their mind, and they said at this point we need to have done this. At this point, this. They didn't feel. It didn't look like they felt the pressure of the time at all in any way. But Summit could expose himself very quickly to Scipio if he chooses to go that balcony, which it doesn't look like he is. He's going to head the long way around. And with that balcony presence coming out from Team Triton, balcony, yeah. there we go. I'm getting a little confused with myself. But they're over by balcony and they're over by bakery. And at the moment, Fookin Zoo, they're not trying to shut down any of this. They're not trying to put any pressure on. That prep wall is actually already open. You've got Vulcanoid. She's holding the prep angle, but you don't want to be holding that angle all at this point in the round, even though we are now ticking halfway through the round with no kills gone.
This is very unusual, this push, as we see Triton at Kovac specifically walk into the arms of Deku, who's just sitting inside of mining, and Summit looks like he's being taken down by Octagon inside of reading right now, and he's hunting him down with Sandy in tow, so they will be able to possibly get the refrag after Octagon gets this, but he will spray the wall, not light up Sandy, but he does connect the double kill with the Roni headshot there. Meanwhile, a move finding Scipio on site as this interesting split push continues to play out. Oh no, sorry, that Scipio was actually up on... No, Scipio was here. Yeah, okay, so this split push is continuing. And, well, the top floor trio have fallen. So now it's all up to Urmoof and Hyde to try and make this, well, site execute happen while they still have Roamers to worry about above. And the Roamers have dropped down. Octagon with his triple on the round almost lands the quad as he narrowly misses the head of the Zofia of Hyde. And this is all just coming to a head very quickly here. Now Hyde is trapped in this coat check area. Decker will get the 2k on the round. Great roaming from the Jaeger and the Mozzie combo there. Collecting every kill between them. And that is such a great round from Fookin Zoo.
Yeah, they did really well on that because I'm going to point them out. We're going to talk about them because there's no way we can't. Octagon and Decker, the two kind of first team players that play together week in, week out. They are just, their chemistry, it was very evident right there. They were going for those kills. They were going for those plays, and they were playing off of each other really well in a way we just haven't seen in quite a while for a Fookin Zoo. Bigly Bob holding that position best he could, but at the end of the day, there wasn't really much for him to do. You can't get many kills the same as Vulcanoid. You can't get that many kills if they can't make it to you, if your Roamers have killed them all. And, I mean, Decker playing that mining area, finding that early kill, I don't think he should have. No. I feel like Triton, they should have saw him. They should have said, okay, he played that last time. Expect this player. He caught us off guard. We need to deal with it. And Decker was able to just get a couple of kills. Now he's doing
it. He was even doing it in the previous matchup on Cafe. He just loves sitting in mining as Jaeger.
Yeah.
So that's something that they should be aware of going into this and sort of watch out for. They've made that mistake a couple of times, just face checking the middle floor. And it's not good enough, honestly, especially when you know that there's roam presence above and in reading potentially. Octagon did so well. I think while the kills were handed to Decker, Octagon really had to fight for his. That was outstanding play inside of reading. He had no right getting the refrag on the Nomad. And he just played it perfectly. I love seeing headshots with the Roni. It's one of the most satisfying things to see that 1.5 scope just tap in onto the head of a player. And, well, yeah, he did it beautifully. That's a highlight moment for him, I think.
Yeah, a very nice shot as well, going onto that Nomad just to bring it down and bring the round win just that little bit more out of Team Triton's grasp. But we've seen it before. And we're going to see it again. We've got Scipio. He's playing downstairs with the Pulse. He is going to be waiting Deca in mining. They're both. Oh, that's really nice. I think if you have a Jaeger down in mining, that's good. You have got that roam potential. But if you take Volcanoid with that C4, combine it with that Pulse when Scipio does come back, that can cause a lot of problems in this piano area.
You could say it leaves them a little bit thin on the ground, well, on the top floor, but honestly, they have all the main anchor points covered. They know what they're doing. My only fear is that if Triton went for some heavy cocktail push, then that would have just completely blindsided the Fookin Zoo right here. But 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. So that's this intel that Scipio is gathering right now is probably absolutely crucial, and Deca is going to find some kills off of that intel for himself as the Jaeger. Look at this. He's got a full read on pretty much the whole push here, or at least 2 of the 4 remaining operators, and he's going to send that C4 up. This could claim 2. It does claim 1 as a move gets rid of that Pixel player.
Unknowingly refragging his player very, very quickly. A move having to push through. He knows with a Pulse below on the board and a Bandit as well. You don't know what the Bandit's playing, so you need to be very careful, aware that you have to keep on moving. And Summit doing exactly that, trying to clear open this Cigar Lounge area. Now they're getting a Freezer Breach open. Now they're trying to open more lines of sight for the ranged weapons to work. But time is ticking down. A minute left on the clock and down by 1 man. Not looking like the great position that they want to be in. Like we've seen them be able to pull off before. And Scipio just feeding information yet again, knowing how close he is to Deca. Just look at that. That is insanely close. Deca, he knows when the push is going to be coming. He's going to get told when to pre-fire. A move is going to run in. Deca's going to find the kill. And Deca's not even flashed. Now, yes, there can be a refrag, but he pulls around to bathroom, going to play that fixable position as Summit goes for the flank, and Deca gets smoked in, but it doesn't matter. Volcanoid's able to find Sandy. It's all down to the Ash with that diffuser with 20 seconds left.
And Summit has managed 4Ks in recent memory right now, so unfortunately, he's not going to be able to replicate that as Volcanoid gets the second of the round, sealing it out. And I mean, that was just wonderful play right there. Again, from a Fookin Zoo. They are looking like defense on Cafe really is their home right now. Deca in particular, he's just so brave. He's constantly, I want to call him a corner creeper. He seems to be playing around every angle, every corner that you don't expect him to. He finds a little spot. He's like, yeah, I'm going to hide here. Wait for them to push me, because there's no way they bother to drone me out in this such a weird location, right? He's gotten away with that a fair few times, and most of his kills have been just sneaky hiding kills, which is hilarious, honestly. I love to see it. It's just entertaining.
Yeah, and it's a reminder to everybody watching and everybody playing at the moment that you need to check your corners best you can, if not with the drone, but at least with your gun. However, that did not end up being the case, and we are seeing a 5-5 so far. We saw this take place on the last map, Calf, but on Clubhouse, sorry, but I think reading Dining, if there is a time for Triton to win a round, it is this. They need to get this round on the board. Yes, you return to that bottom floor site, but if you lose this, you can pretty much guarantee that next site's not going to go your way.
I think statistically, Reading Dining might be one of the highest win rate defensively on Cafe. It's one of those weird things where a lot of the time the tertiary site does have that stat, just because it isn't played as often, and it's usually played by teams that are so good at defending that they manage to make it all the way to the tertiary site. But honestly, strategically, it is a very strong site. You essentially have all of the benefits of a top floor hold, but with the added benefit of being able to fall back even further and defend the site beyond that. So there are multiple ways of tackling it. Most likely you will see a similar kind of push that you would see on the top floor with that piano take. And this is why the Mozzie is especially useful, because those drones are going to come through specific narrow doorways or narrow gaps. And you can really delay the clear that comes through from the attacking side. What's important here right now is that Kovac is pressuring on that east side and looking to possibly swing in to Heaven right here. He's already opened the window. May guard his entry with a frag if he decides to swing in, but he's going to be droning for himself while the rest of the team pushes from piano.
Scipio yet again with the pulse. It's just a role that when he's not been fragging out, that he's been happy to take up because it's that information. It's the free C4 kill. You'll 99% of the time see that pulse getting, which is something you see right now. The information going to feed his team these kills. I don't know why. You're seeing this man just walk around, Volcanoid, able to find a kill onto Kovac, and they know that someone's going to try and flank them. Over by that area, not anymore, as Scipio is able to find that kill with the C4 onto Summit, taking away the sledge on the reading dining site. There is no buck on the board, there is no jackal shotgun, nothing that can really be used other than these thermite charges and the hides breaching charges, which are being used to clear out the top floor. And that's exactly what you said, Jerry. It is a top floor hold with the benefit of not even being the site. You get to pull back in the last 20 seconds.
Octagon is going to be thanking his lucky stars that there's some barbed wire there, because he was unaware of the push coming through Freezer completely before Hyde knocked it, and now he can play safely behind this reinforced wall, behind this shield, but he does expose himself to the long angle there being held by Sandy, so good work by the Nomad to just be patient enough for the Mozzie to expose himself. They now find themselves in a 3 versus 4, perfectly winnable. A move holds Diffuser, and all the remaining players on the lobby have full HP. We have a smoke as well in play, so as the timer ticks, Biggly Bob becomes more and more valuable. Everyone's fallen back now. The attackers have full control of Cocktail, and they just need to decide where exactly and how exactly they decide to plant. Scipio is in a key position by mining, okay? He's deciding to rotate underneath, in fact, and maybe come up brown stairs.
Oh, yeah, I can see that late round when the push is coming out from reading door. As Decker calls it, this is Scipio's moment to act. Biggly Bob going around with that smoke canister, getting ready to smoke it out. This can be a really huge position, but Sandy, he's going to have a really huge play as he finds another kill. Picking off Decker, jumping down will give us away the information to the smoke as a move pushes in before, but that's the diffuser. The smoke canisters can just come out constantly, but there's none left. Now Biggly Bob with the smoke shotgun SMG, he finds Sandy. He got a refrag onto Vulcan, but you got to get the diffuser, and it just didn't happen. Look at this push. Never mind.
Yeah, just falling apart there, unfortunately, for the side of Team Triton. And look at this as well. We're at 6-5. This has been such a back-and-forth contest. Again, we're getting a really close match on our hands, and it's super entertaining. I'm just stoked that we're getting to watch it, we're getting to cast it, and that this new league is bringing already such entertaining content. Kitchen Service is our, well, both kitchen sites. Kitchen Service and Kitchen Cooking is the next site. And, I mean, this has been a very solid site for a Fookin Zoo on their defensive sweep. They've already done that perfect circuit just now of sites. They were 5-3 down a few rounds ago. Now they sit on match point, 6-5, and they're going back to their primary site. That is potentially huge.
Like I said,
apologies. So this is actually the secondary site, but either way, it's one that they've won once. They've got a 50% win record here. So it's
not an attack, not at all an attack. We still really struggle on this site, but like I said, that last site, Reading Dining, that was the place for Triton to really excel, and they were unable to. If they were able to pick up that round purely on the fact that a lot of teams aren't as well rehearsed on that Reading Dining because they don't get to play it as much, because like you said, you need to be a really good team to consistently be going to the tertiary site. That was the place to win it for Triton. Now they have to go for a bottom floor take. They have to go up against Octagon and Decker on that roam yet again. They've got to go for that multi-layered roam clear because Fookin Zoo, they will not let you get away with not doing it. Decker, yet again, you're seeing him in the middle floor. He is already going to be putting a lot of pressure on the attackers with Octagon.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, I mean, I highlighted it a few rounds ago that there were, you know, a couple of players with 7 kills here and there. Decker's just lit up. He's on 12 right now. That's great. He's really just sort of, the last few rounds, been absolutely stellar. And once again, we're on this basement defense, or basement. I always say basement because it's the bottom floor, and it's one of the few maps without a basement. Yeah, bottom floor defense. And yeah, Octagon and Decker are the ones to watch. They were super effective last time down here. Scipio playing site, just looking to feed intel to his roamers for the time being. And Decker getting into what looks like will be an early engagement with Hyde, who's pushing down these white stairs, or sorry, rappelling on the white stairs window. He's got a bit of cover though. He can fall back into reading. Summit now coming down white stairs himself. He was super effective as well. But look at this roaming player at the top of heaven. It's just Octagon. He's trapped right now. They know he's there. The double kick comes through, but it's completely almost scuffed right there. Summit does finish him off, but at what cost? Look at that. Almost dead are both the Nomad and the Ash because of that strange double peak that they went for. And I mean, if that was the Commando, that's a pair of frags right there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's just the case of panic from Octagon as you see two people peek. You're trying to hit both because you're trying to hit the head of both, and you're unable to. But Decker getting droned down. Now he, as you can see on your screens, he has support in the form of Scipio. That pulse, no IQ on the attacking lineup. They're not going to be aware that he's coming in. Scipio knows that he can be a huge player here. But Decker
decided to rotate down, actually. He's come down the ground stairs just now. Yeah, I mean, it was getting pretty hot, and now he's going to just hold on to this coat check main entrance area. A strong position to hold. Certainly slows any attackers that want to be pushing a long red hall, whether it be for that main door take or just to pressure freezer. But looks like most of that pressure is coming from the ceiling right now. But look at the timer. 36 seconds left. We don't have a hard breach established onto site. So Kovac is really trying his darndest to find a kill here. And Decker's position will be given away by the air jab. He can fall back not safely as Hyde is there reacting in time. Summit would have been there to pick it up as well. So now 5 versus 3, but still time in favor of the defenders. A move finds one of those remaining defenders and a second pushing into sight. And it's just the Kaye to shut him down. This could be a big clutch opportunity for Volcanoid. She finds a second, just needs to stay alive. The plant will be being stuck by Hyde behind the cover. Summit low on health and Kovac as well low. C4 goes out just to blow a hole. It doesn't thread the needle, unfortunately. And she doesn't quite see the retreating Zofia. And now the post-plant situation has been established and positions are being held. This has suddenly got a lot harder for Volcanoid, who's starting out by peeking onto the sledge, and Kovac will hold his angle very nicely and take us, well, to the end of the game. No, not the end of the game. That is 6-6, overtime.
End of the regulation.
Yeah.
For the second map in a row, we are going to overtime, but two completely different teams. Now, we have to really think. In my experience, I see the defense really coming up clutch here because that's where we've seen teams excel. That's where we saw Triton really pick up the bulk of their rounds. They had that 4-2 split. They've just picked up their second attacking round, whereas, like we just saw, this is where a fucking zoo, they brought it all the way back. So now they've got the pulse. They're on the top floor yet again. One which I don't think Triton have won once, if I'm not mistaken, Jerry.
Ooh,
they need to deal with that. And then
yeah, this has been 100% successful for Fookin Zoo, this top floor hold. So this is, I mean, stats. If we're just looking at stats, it's almost a guaranteed round for these guys. Obviously, they don't want to be that complacent. You know, the more they play this site, the more Triton learns about how they defend it. And looking at the operator lineup, it doesn't seem as though the Fookin Zoo are in a situation where they want to change what they do. They're thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, you know, you've got to be always innovating, and you've always got to be aware that Triton will be learning. They will be understanding exactly where they're going wrong. And if I recall last time on their bar attack, it was that they didn't really check underneath. They didn't clear out Scipio on the pulse. He was too high impact for them, getting the C4. And, I mean, just that free kill being not refragged just allowed them to snowball.
I think Scipio here, he's yet again looking to just be in a stick in the mud. He does not want to relinquish this pulse, relinquish the power that it gives him. And one thing you alluded to earlier is this cocktail bar presence. Because you're seeing these two off-site roamers have had incredible success. And the Hyde was putting some pressure on Cocktail's side, but now he's decided to rotate around. And I feel like, honestly, just having...
Out. Oh, no. He could get another one.
I didn't spot that. Thank you. Yeah,
oh my
Decker,
God.
He's going to play it safe. He only wanted to get the one, and it was like, all right, I've got my clip. I'm going to come back. Because why? Why would I give it away? Why would I get an advantage just to throw it?
I don't know if you saw that ragdoll, but that player fell so hard from the rappel that they fell into bakery. Like they were literally sticking through the ceiling of Bakery. It made me laugh. Oh, it was beautiful. But look, now they're paying due diligence to this Roma, but still not executing cleanly onto him. Scipio getting his first kill of the round onto Summit. He doesn't know quite how close he is to the Jackal of Sandy, and he will lose the fight. That UMP just not doing quite enough at close range. In fact, not doing anything, as Sandy takes not a scratch, removing that Pulse, who's been pivotal. But again, they're going in at the man disadvantage.
Yes, but half the round gone. They've got that red open. Now they need to deal with Octagon on piano. And the time drain is coming in huge because you think Triton, they took a long time playing below, trying to clear it out. They lost a player trying to get Decker, but finding Scipio instead. Got a kill, like I said, but now they're pushing. Now they have to get Octagon. The aggressive nature of how they're pushing reflects the time situation they're in, and Octagon's able to find one. Now it's a move, but Volcanoid's able to find Sandy. It's all down to a move who gets one kill, but now he's all alone in piano. He's going to try and head over to Pixel, try and spot something, but Fookin Zoo, they know where he is, and Biggly Bob waiting in Freezer. He just has to start smoking out. He's playing right there. He knows this breach is coming. He's going to start smoking out the correct read onto that bathroom. Biggly holding these tight angles, not yielding yet. He doesn't want to give away anything, as does a Fookin Zoo. If they take this round, then they give themselves that upper hand going into their attack. And with the Leisure Mine going off, he has to pull it out. He runs right into Decker, finds the kill, but the smoke comes out from Biggly Bob. He doesn't see a move run through. He's going for the car plant. But there it is.
Biggly Bob. What incredible play from the smoke. And you almost had, like, I was rooting for the Thermite right there. He actually started planting under cover of smoke, but not his own, or not his own team's. If he just moved forward an inch, he might have been able to stick that. And that was a very, very close effort from a move. He actually did very well in the effective 1 versus 4 there to try and pull it back and give them hope. But I want to look at Octagon, who was playing Pixel. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play Pixel that staunchly. He was not moving. He was just like, yeah, you know, come at me. I'm going to stick on this shield. Everyone peek me, and I will peek you back. And he got a couple, to be fair. He was shut down, but he forced those engagements, and the chaos that ensued allowed another pick as well from Volcanoid away from all that action. So, yeah, that was just, again, another solid bar hold, and they are 3 for 3 up there on the top floor. So now, well, the question is, can they lock it out even before round 15? Can they get a successful attack onto Kitchen? They really struggled on Kitchen, and in fact, this was also Team Triton's bastion, their incredible fortress, where they did not lose a single round down here. So we could go all the way to round 15, which would be really tantalizing. And then, just in case that happens, I'm looking at the kind of round record and the site record for Fookin Zoo on their defense. They could go to Kitchen, but they've lost there twice and only won there once. Reading would honestly be the best bet for them.
I was waiting to find out when you'd notice it, and I don't think you have. You know how I've constantly said that Team Triton, they've excelled in Fookin Zoo. They're going for one-dimensional pushes. They're going into Bakery, expecting to just push prep and win. Now they've listened to me, saying they need that vertical play, and look what they've brought in the form of Decker. They brought the fuse, and I don't think it's for the killing. Because it's quite easy once you know there's a fuse on the board, you know the general area, you hear the charge going down, you start moving. But the utility, it's such an easier way to deal with a wall. Yes, you could go get an IQ above, you could try and do some very intricate strategies to deal with it. But at the end of the day, a bunch of cluster charges, no ADS is going to protect you from that. That wall will get opened up, because you have your heart breach ready. But it looks like Zoo have gone to this top floor and are just jumping in with Scipio leading the charge.
Yeah, this is exactly the adjustment they needed to make, right? They needed to start focusing on clearing the entire map for these kitchen takes, and they're doing exactly that. They've managed to, with these drones, I don't know if they've fully established it. It's not the most efficient droning, it has to be said, but they may have just cleared the top 2 floors sub 70 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Very good progress, in fact. As long as they get their flanks on lock, The only problem is they're not watching the stairs right now. There is the opportunity for Hyde or someone on the side of Team Triton to try and retake push upstairs. It would be very risky, given the fact that they look like they're comfortable right now. They're waiting for the onslaught. They're playing mostly off-site. Sandy and the smoke remain on, but they just want to bait out as much utility as possible, really, from the attack. That C4 going out, and Sandy's caught on drone. Oh no, he was stuck on cams, and that's an actual kill for Decker and his cluster charges. I've never seen an opening pick from a Fuse charge before, but that is it.
Well, now you have, and that's the thing about Fuse. They may be comfortable, but the Fuse does, most of the time, unless you're Sandy, give you that wandering feet syndrome. You want to get moving, you want to get going, and for the Roamers, that kind of says, I want to get going, I want to stop this, so you go to try and kill that Fuse. But nobody has done that. Summit on the brown stairs, getting droned out, getting spotted by Scipio, taking some damage, falling back, but not enough as Hyde is able to find Volcanoid. But Decker, he's got this freezer controlled. Now it's a case of opening it out. He calls where the Electroclaw is and realizes he doesn't have the angle to open it. The breaching charge will, however, take it out, and now they can open it with the thermite charge. But you've got Scipio heading to Small Bakery amidst all this commotion with this freezer push. Decker ready to drop. Bigly Bob watching one side. The flashbang comes out. Scipio needs to really put some pressure on with this flank when he does go for it, as he's walking into prep right now. He spots the smoke, but will go down. Decker and Octagon fighting a kill. Bigly Bob getting one of his own before Scipio gets finished off by Kovac. The plant is starting to go down, and that's the GG as Decker shuts it out for Fookin Zoo. And I never thought I'd say a Fuse might be the defining factor in the round, but there it is.
I mean, look at that. Fuse top fragging, Fuse final victory pose from Decker. It's a rarity. Lap it up, ladies and gentlemen, because that is probably a once in a lifetime thing right there. 16-9 Decker went, absolutely savaging the side of Team Triton, and that's their second win of the day. The second win running on Cafe, and it was a much closer one. Our second overtime as well today. Our second 8-6. It's the second everything, it seems. But yeah, that was beautiful from a Fookin Zoo. A solid and just blistering attack and execute that was so perfect down on that bottom floor. I want to give a shout out to, who was it? Was it Scipio on the Ash pushing solo through prep? He may have died, but honestly, I feel like just taking that fight and drawing the attention of at least one or two anchors was such an important thing when it came to that freezer push. You know how it ends when you funnel everyone through one entryway. He gave them that second dimension, a very quick rotate to come down and push through Bakery instead, and it just made the attack sort of have that edge. We didn't get to see exactly how it happened, but the people going through freezer, they got all their kills. They managed to go pretty much +3 in that execute, and it was pretty much impossible for the remaining defender to win that out. It was so clean, and honestly, you won't see many better final 15-second executes than that. So well done, props to Fookin Zoo for really stealing that one off literally with a bang, literally with Fuse's charges just lighting up the way for a victory there.
Yeah, thank you for listening to me as well, Fookin Zoo. I do really appreciate that. But that is going to be it for that game. We do still have one left, and we do know how desperate you are to actually have that. I'm not sure if we're going to have an interview. Production will clarify that in a second for me. No, we are not. We're just going to be having a very short break and getting on with that final game just to make sure that we can get this going and everyone can go to bed at a reasonable time, including myself, because I am... my body is a temple, Jerry, as I'm sure you can agree, and I need to treat it properly with a good sleep schedule.
Yeah, it's important. It's very important. But yeah, just so we can get on with things, I'm going to close it out. I could stay here complimenting your body all day long, though. So,
I think you're good, but
maybe we'll spare the stream. That we'll do that in the break. So yeah, go grab yourself a drink. Make sure you stay up for this final game. It's going to be a real doozy. We've got ourselves a good matchup coming. I'm just trying to find out exactly who it is. It is going to be our winners from earlier, of course, Lockdown Ludens versus SEAL Team Santa. So don't go away.